The Bookend Approach is a cooperative learning instructional large lecture strategy that engages students by breaking up lecture on a particular subject with small group and/or partner discussions. Picture this: Anywhere You Live University, USA. A large lecture hall with 100 to 400 students sitting in traditional rows upon rows of desks, listening to a professor deliver a lecture for 50 minutes to 2 hours. Some students are listening intently, connecting concepts and taking down notes. Some students are passively listening, gripping their coffee mugs and trying to avoid falling asleep at all costs. And other students, well, they've checked out altogether and are on their phones or on their laptops surfing YouTube, checking email, or completing work for other classes. Unfortunately, this is a very common scene in almost every university in the US and around the world. Current research shows us that although students typically retain less than half of what they learn in large lecture, a whopping 73 to 83% of colleges still choose large lecture as a primary form of instruction. As educators, should we care about this? And if so, what can we do about it? Fortunately, with a little creativity, it is possible to transform this environment into an active learning scene in which students are excited to come to a large lecture and are far too engaged in the material to think about YouTube. The how-to guide. Using the bookend approach, an instructor would break up the lecture into sections. Beginning, explanation of goals for the lecture and an engagement activity. This can be anything from a partner discussion to a simple question that helps spark the student's curiosity and get them in the mindset. Use clickers, personal whiteboards, or smartphones to solicit feedback. Midsection. The instructor then alternates between 10 to 15 minutes of lecture and student work. This is meant to check in with students and ensure that learning is in fact taking place. These activities could include paired discussions, problem-solving tasks, role-playing, and demonstrations. Closing. The instructor then wraps up the lecture with a 5 to 6 minute summary of the concepts discussed and practiced. One of the most notable benefits to using the bookend approach is that this strategy can be used in a wide variety of classroom settings, whether technology is available or not. Students benefit from this strategy by having the opportunity to recall and use concepts introduced to them in a practical way. Instructors who are more comfortable facilitating activities than they are lecturing for long periods of time will also benefit. Not all teaching strategies are without their pitfalls. Some of the drawbacks of using this approach include additional required resources, such as clickers, whiteboards, and smartphone use, and more time spent brainstorming different methods of challenging student learning potential. In addition, instructors who are less comfortable starting and restarting their lecture to facilitate student work may experience some discomfort using the bookend approach. The bottom line: using the bookend approach is an effective way to foster student learning by incorporating active learning strategies in large lecture classes, which encourages students to absorb, recall, and apply concepts learned. Does it require more work? Yes. Does it require brainstorming new and innovative ways to help students learn? Absolutely. However, as educators, it is our responsibility to explore and try different methods to reach our students who pay good money for education.